I Am Somebody is a powerful 1970 documentary directed by Madeline Anderson, and it's one of the first films to focus entirely on Black women standing up for their labor rights in America. Set in Charleston, South Carolina, this film tells the real-life story of 400 Black hospital workers, mostly women, who went on strike in 1969 at the Medical College Hospital and Charleston County Hospital. They weren't asking for luxury. They were fighting for fair pay, union recognition, and the basic dignity that their labor deserved. At the time, these Black women were earning poverty-level wages, doing some of the hardest and most necessary work in healthcare. Many were paid less than the minimum wage, and none of them had any formal protection or voice on the job. When they organized with Local 1199 of the Hospital Workers Union and began to strike, they faced major resistance from local politicians and law enforcement. South Carolina's governor at the time even called in the National Guard to intimidate and control the strikers. But these women, strong, focused, and fed up, stood tall. They were supported by the Southern Christian Leadership Conference and leaders like Coretta Scott King, who joined them on the picket line and spoke powerfully about the intersection of civil rights, women's rights, and labor rights. The title, I Am Somebody, comes from the affirmation used during the movement, a declaration that Black women workers were not invisible, not disposable, and not less than anyone else. This documentary didn't just show a labor protest. It captured the spirit of resistance among Black working women who refused to be overlooked. It highlighted the direct connection between race, gender, class, and labor, long before mainstream feminism caught up to the conversation. I Am Somebody was also groundbreaking behind the camera. Madeline Anderson, a Black woman director, made history by becoming one of the first African-American women to direct a nationally distributed documentary film. Her lens didn't just tell the story. It preserved a critical moment in the fight for justice led by Black women. This film is more than a record of a strike. It's a tribute to Black women who demanded to be seen, heard, and respected. It's a lesson in self-worth, and it reminds us that the struggle for dignity on the job is far from over.
Since I was a little girl, I could remember that the tourists would come to Charleston in the spring of the year. They would come to see Fort Sumter, where the first shot in the Civil War was fired. And they would come to see our stately, beautiful mansions. And they would come to see all the lovely gardens. But those who came in the spring of 1969 saw Charleston as it really was if you're poor and Black.
We as Black people in South Carolina have awakened to the fact that we are no longer afraid of the white man, and that we want to be recognized, not because of our race, but because we are human beings.
On that Mother's Day march, I was real excited because I took one look in the back and I saw 14,000 people in the street, and I just knew that this would be a beginning of a new day in Charleston.
It was a new day in Charleston. The hospital workers had gotten sick and tired of being sick and tired. The Mother's Day march was the thing that brought folks from all over the country to our support. All the different labor unions came, different organizations, just everybody. It all started when 400 hospital workers decided to organize a union. And when the medical college fired 12 people, we just had to go on strike. Of course, a week later, County Hospital joined us in the strike. Of the 400 strikers, all but 12 were women. All of us were Black.
We needed something that would, help support us. that when we go to these people and talk to them and we didn't get no satisfaction from them, we could go to our union then and have them to come in with us and, you know, and help get things straightened out. And so the next morning at 5 o'clock we met at the hospital, and all of us, you know, walked and talked and sang and everything else until so the more we walked and talked, looked like the tougher they got. The tougher they got with us, and they still, you know, wouldn't decide to give in. We was women and we didn't have no weapons or nothing. I felt like they wouldn't hardly hit us with those big clubs and things because we didn't have no weapons. And we didn't went out to fight them, not with no fist fight. We went out to fight them, you know, with the law on our side, you know, to try to win through the law, not by no fist fight.
The normal routine function of the Medical College Hospital was altered today as picket lines were formed surrounding the institution. Some employees who wanted to come to work were intimidated and threatened. Patients are being taken care of by fully qualified personnel. There has been no trouble in the care of patients. Some of our employees are doubling up in their duties, and some of our functions are being postponed unless they are of an emergency nature.
In the hospital, they have white workers doing the same work as black. You know, they might have a white nurse's aide and a black nurse's aide, yet the white aide earns more money than the black. I want union recognition. I want to see that my people are able to enjoy something better than what they have been enjoying.
What would you like to see for them in the hospitals?
In the hospital, I would like to see fair treatment.
When you're working around people who discriminate against you, you just really feel like, you know, fighting all the time because, you know, hey girl, and they had these nicknames they call you like Dooflachi and Monkey Grunt and all this carrying on, you know, and I think all of us do to respect, regardless to age, race, or creed.
I do not believe this is a civil rights issue whatsoever.
Why not?
I just don't believe it's a civil rights issue. They are working for wages at jobs which have no relation to race, creed, sex, or anything else.
Hold it up. You will be apprehended and detained for presentation to the court. Bring the first bus down.
We will kindly march in your buses, ask your men not to touch us. Let us walk in.
These workers are well aware of the policy of this department that minimum force will be used. No unnecessary force is used in these contexts. Put a couple of men on the other side.
Things was rough, and we needed Reverend Abernathy and the SCLC staff to mobilize the black community of Charleston behind our struggle. That night, we had a big rally at the Fourth Baptist Church, and the people of Charleston really came out to our support.
About the 5th speech that I have made in Charleston. And every time I have been here, I've been taken to see the historical sites of this city. I don't want to see any more historic sight. I want to tell you tonight, and I want to tell all of Charleston, that we are going to all be saved together as brothers, or we're going to perish as fools.
Reverend Abernathy was arrested for the first time in Charleston. Leon Davis, the head of the local 1199 in New York, also was jailed. As a matter of fact, over 100 people went to jail that day.
If you do not disperse and march from this area, it will be necessary to take you into custody for violation of Judge Singletary's injunction. You are requested at this time to continue the march to leave the area of the medical college.
At the Calvary Baptist Church, and also to make plans to get the turnout and the thing in operation in Washington tomorrow.
The members of 1199 in New York really put out for us.
Is there a report?
They sent their leaders down to work with us, and their members contributed $100,000 out of their own pockets. We were really together at Union headquarters. We had our strike kitchen where we cooked. Of course, mostly all we had to eat was beans and rice, but that was all right. We didn't mind. And we put out leaflets, and we really had a time there. There were times when I was hardly ever home during the day, and well, the children was left a lot of times to themselves, made a lot of sacrifices. My husband, well, he worked, and he would have to come home and see that the children were bathed, and he would a lot of times cook, go to the grocery stores. As a matter of fact, I didn't see the grocery stores quite a few times during that period. And well, a lot of times he got sort of upset, and we would have to have a talk, you know, and I tried to make him understand that this was like my thing. It was something I had to do, you know. So we worked it out, and he bared with me until the end of it.
A few months ago, I was proud to accept the position of honorary chairman of the National Organizing Committee of Hospital and Nursing Home Employees, the organization that has sparked this crusade for freedom and dignity here in your city. I did so because I know that hospital workers have been working full-time jobs at part-time pay. After all, $1.30 an hour is not a wage. It is an insult. I also have another interest for being here, and that is many of the hospital workers throughout our nation are women, black women, many of whom are the main supporters of their families. I feel that the black woman in our nation, the black working woman, is perhaps the most discriminated against. of all of the working women, the black woman. And if my husband were alive today, he would be right here with you tonight. My husband often said that 1199 in New York was his favorite union. But after watching what you've done here in Charleston, I must say that my favorite union is Local 1199B.
There were times when we were so depressed in Charleston. And then here comes a lady, a great lady, like Coretta King. She came to Charleston and marched in the streets with us. It made us feel real good. It really uplifted us. It gave us the strength and the courage that we needed to face the folks of Charleston and do what was necessary to win the strike.
We shall be free today. For deep in my heart, I do believe we'll walk hand in hand today. For deep in my heart, I do believe we shall overcome.
Did today's march have any effect on the state's position?
Well, no march and no action that anybody can take can have any effect on the state's position when it comes to union recognition and collective bargaining. There's nothing that can be done about that unless the General Assembly, in its wisdom, should desire to change the policy and set forth the machinery and the authority and the procedure by which you would operate. So marches and demonstrations and strong statements and things of this nature cannot affect the policy of the state.
I want to tell the Governor McNair, that he ought to declare at once South Carolina not an emergency area where the state troopers will come in with bayonets and where there will be a curfew to get us off of the streets by 9 o'clock at night, but this ought to be declared a disaster area because the whole state, ought to be on welfare. It's the poorest state I've ever seen. Now, I've been to jail. I stayed there for 8 days. I ate macaroni and cheese without cheese. For breakfast, and for dinner I had leftover grits from breakfast. Jesus said that a little child shall lead them. And
the black ministers worked closely with Reverend Abernathy. They gave us their churches for the rallies, and they helped us raise funds.
And I'm saying to you this evening, go back home and tell your mother and tell your father that Ralph Abernathy said that you are a traitor if you go to school that you can learn more in standing up and marching with Local 1199 than you can in any schoolhouse here in Charleston, South Carolina.
That was the first demonstration that we led with the help of Reverend Orange, SCLC organizer, down on the Battery, as it's so-called. It's a historical section of Charleston. The only people around it is white and there's big historical homes. So we wanted them to know just what was going on and how the black people felt toward the strike. So we called a total strike of the school. We call it D-Day. And we held a massive demonstration there. I really wanted them to see that we were not going to just stay in the ghettos and have demonstration. That if we could go in their own community and raise as much hell as we want to, then they know why we're raising all the hell by the hospitals and in the ghettos.
We are here to help all poor people in Charleston, since we will be the leaders of tomorrow. And when we living in Charleston, we feel as if though we should come in better things now so that we wouldn't be in the same predicament that these people are in now.
And we are determined that we are going to win this fight. Definitely, we may not have all the participants that we want, but we will get them eventually. And I think that everyone should help, because this is not only for the older people, but we must realize that we are going to come in and we need these jobs, and there's no need for us going to school 12 years and making $1.30 an hour.
You are directed to disperse and return to your homes, or you will be arrested for violation of this lawful order to disperse.
Gas mask.
Of all the folks who help us in Charleston, I feel it was the students who did the most to really help us win the strike. They went out there and they did just what was necessary. More than 1,000 of us went to jail during the strike. As a matter of fact, it was like a badge of honor to go to jail. I was in jail twice. My kids were in jail too.
I am here to convey to the striking hospital workers, and I hope to every responsible leader and private citizen in this community, the fact that every union in the family of AFL-CIO throughout the nation is with the hospital workers in this struggle. We are with them, and we are prepared to stay with them until their goals, which are extremely reasonable, are attained.
Night marches in Charleston. They are prohibited. And this is a night march in the streets of Charleston, regardless of what you call it.
We are not engaged in a march. We are engaged in a prayer vigil where you pray. We are peaceful, and we are headed to our spot where we will have our vigil, where we will be in prayer all night for the hospital workers and for those who continue to deny us justice and equality and a livable wage.
The crowd is not dispersed immediately and go peacefully to your home. It will be necessary for me to start making arrests.
Everybody kneel down. Everybody to kneel. We thank thee that thou hast spared our lives.
Can you hear me back there, brother? You all right back there? All we want to say is that we can't win this fight unless we all stick together. Reb Abernathy can go to jail twice for this town. He's down there in jail now under $50,000 bond. Now, he doesn't like jail. He's in jail because he knows that he's got to do everything he can to support poor people.
That's right.
Now, you have to support poor people, too, because you are poor people. That's right. Now, the best thing we can do for ourselves is stay off King Street. Now, we're not fighting for the hospital workers. We're fighting for all poor people. And when the hospital workers make a little more money, pretty soon everybody makes a little more money. That's right. Now, the only way we can keep this thing going is if we can stay out of downtown and keep our money in our pockets.
That's for sure.
All right? Right. Now stay off there. Keep your money in your pocket. Hold on to it till the eagle grins.
That's for sure.
I'm talking to the officers of this state. We just want to let you know that we are marching for you. You don't get enough salary either. We're going back that way, down to the next corner, follow Brother Fold.
We realize one thing that the white folks understand, and it's a dollar. All we bought was food and medicine. And do you know, it cost the business community over $15 million. After 100 days, the medical college agreed to settle the strike. All of us went back to work at medical college, including the 12 that the administration claimed would never work in medical college again. We won wage increases of 30 to 70 cents an hour. We won a real grievance procedure, one that we could understand. It took another 13 days before the county hospital strike was settled. So the workers just had to keep keeping on until it was settled.
The county hospital will rehire all striking workers to job openings for which they are classified without recrimination or reprisal. 42 job openings are now available. The county council will make every effort to return the remaining workers to employment at the county hospital within a 3-month period.
On behalf of the striking workers and chairman of that group, the workers of the county hospital who have been out on strike have agreed to end their strike of 113 days and return to work. In keeping with the agreement reached with the county council, we have met with members of the council for the past 3 days, and we are confident that all workers will be reinstated in much less than the 90 days mentioned in the agreement. The 65 striking workers are dedicated to the Charleston County Hospital, but also to one another. We are returning in a new relationship of mutual respect and dignity between the workers, the county council, the hospital administration, and the entire community.
Ms. Simmons, what do you think this strike has accomplished?
Well, we gained recognition as human beings, for one. We gained that recognition as human beings. The strike was one of the hardest and most important periods of my life. We had to fight the whole power structure of Charleston and of South Carolina. We were up against Governor McNair, Mendel Rivers, and Strong Thurman, just because we wanted to have a union. But we proved to everybody that we could stand and fight together, that we were ready to sacrifice, and that we would go to jail. And if I didn't learn but one thing, it was that if you are ready and willing to fight for yourself, other folks will be ready and willing to fight for you. We learned that you gotta be together. That's what a union is all about. We built a winning combination of 1199 Union Power and SCLC Soul Power. 1199B is here to stay in Charleston.